We're going to start doing stuff the right way. We have got to stop.
I personally, I don't believe that he's going to be a danger. He's got the support of his grandmother who's here in court with us today.
We are raising trifling men. We're doing so much for them that we're not raising men. We're raising little boys that some other woman is going to be burdened with taking care of. You and his mama are coddling him. And we are so busy coddling. I know he has a place now, but we're so busy coddling, especially young men. We seem to be wanting to raise women to be responsible. You got to go out and get a job. You got to do this. You got to do that. But parents continue to coddle these young men.
Today, we've got a wild one for you, a super intense court hearing featuring Mr. Lester, our self-proclaimed sovereign citizen of the day. This guy seriously thinks he's above the law, and trust me, things get heated. The judge does not hold back, and the two go head-to-head in what feels like a full-on legal roast battle. Fun fact, claiming to be a sovereign citizen doesn't magically erase your legal responsibilities. Courts do not play that game. Even his own attorney had enough and resigned. And honestly, I don't even need to explain why. Let me know what you guys think about these sovereign citizens below. And let's dive into this very chaotic court hearing.
He's been kind of proactive. So he says that he's completed some defensive driving courses, some anger management courses and things like that. But we understand that the court's main concern is the alcohol. So if there is perhaps any sort of monitoring that Mr. King can have while he's out of jail, or perhaps testing, he would be agreeable to something like that. But we just don't feel like him being in jail. I personally, I don't believe that he's going to be a danger. He's got the support of his grandmother who's here in court with us today. And like I said, he's gainfully employed, and he does have a child, and he does have a lot to lose, and he understands that, especially having been in here.
Ms. Hahn, it's not necessarily that I think he's going to be a danger per se. The concern that I have is that he's gotten 2 subsequent charges, one of which definitely involves alcohol, since he got a DUI. And so all of these things coming into play, you can present all of this to me as the reason why I shouldn't put you in the jail, but none of that kept you from getting 2 subsequent charges after a DUI. I don't understand what's going on. Like, now I'm supposed to feel bad. Oh, he's got a 2-year-old. Well, that was your choice. Nobody told you go out there and you got pending charges and your life is probably not stable and you out here having babies. I'm not a proponent of just willy-nilly having children and then using them to try and play on the court's heartstrings, because I feel like children deserve the absolute best that we can give them. And when we just out here having them and then trying to figure it out on the back end, I'm not a proponent of that. And I see your grandmama sitting back there with her hands over her face, praying for you and everything. And I think that's a good thing. But I think that you need to take some personal responsibility. You're 25, you've chosen to have a child and become a parent. But you also have committed, allegedly, you have 3 different pending cases, not charges. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pending charges before the court, and over the course of 2 years. And
okay, it's all starting to make sense now. This guy is here on a methamphetamine charge. I thought we were just dealing with your average run-of-the-mill nut job, but nope, there's a whole extra layer of chaos here. And just wait until he starts throwing out his demands for a special lawyer. It's like watching someone try to negotiate their way out of reality. What do you guys think so far?
I don't understand.
This one just keeps getting more and more heated as it goes on,
risk
so
you
stick
getting
with
another
me.
charge.
Let's dive back in.
If you stay in jail, you'll come up next on the trial calendar. We can go ahead and try these cases and get them done. We can try them back to back to back.
So, well, 1 second, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
If I could just say one last thing on behalf of Mr. King. Your Honor, obviously, we still would like for him to be released, but I know that Your Honor is concerned about alcohol. Mr. King hasn't had any infractions involving alcohol or any issues with alcohol, at least since April of 2022. So it's going on almost 2 years.
August of 2022.
Well, I think the last case involving alcohol, Your Honor, was the one ending in 0297, is my understanding.
You gonna tell me he was stone cold sober when he went over there to the same person from the April incident? All right, I'm gonna let you have that one.
Thank you, Your Honor. But so, Your Honor, Mr. King and his grandmother was also kind of chiming in as well. Let me know that there aren't any concerns, at least we don't believe that there are any concerns that the court should have about alcohol. He's kind of been on the straight and narrow for over the last year. And so we would like the opportunity for him to get out of jail and kind of fight these charges from the outside. Because he does maintain with me that he's not guilty on all of the cases. And that's kind of what I was trying to explain to him as to why we won't go into the details of that here today as to what happened in each of those cases. But without doing that, he does want the court to release him.
All right. If I release him, he's going to test every 2 weeks for substances. If he misses a test, he comes back to jail. If he tests positive, he comes back to jail.
That's fine, Your Honor.
All right, draw up the order.
Thank you.
He'll go to he'll make an appointment with the probation office, and he'll test every 2 weeks. He misses if he misses a test, he's coming back to jail. If he tests positive, he's coming back to jail for any substance, alcohol or anything else. We're going to start doing stuff the right way.
Now this guy is claiming the officers targeted him and that he's been harassed for 3 days. Come on. Judging by the way he's running his mouth, it sounds more like he's the one harassing everyone in his path, including the judge. Just imagine standing in court, trying to play the victim while making everyone's life harder. It's honestly wild. These sovereign citizens just keep getting more and more ridiculous as time goes on. But what do you guys think? Does
No,
he
Grandma,
actually believe
no.
what he's saying? Or
Come
is
on
he
up,
just
ma'am.
hoping to annoy everyone into
See,
giving up?
your grandson
Let's
is
dive
in this
back in.
situation because somebody's always taking up for him, and he's not getting responsibility for the things he's doing.
I understand that, Your Honor, and thank you for allowing me to speak. But what we did, his mother and I, when they were having their spats, we only go pick up the baby now, or me or his mother.
And you shouldn't have to do that because they should be grown enough. If they're grown enough to have a baby, they should be grown enough to co-parent. But anytime the grandmama and the mama have to get involved in transporting the baby because they can't get along, that tells me that they're immature and shouldn't have had the baby in the first place. So he needs to grow up. And no, I'm not going to facilitate that. No, ma'am.
Well, actually, it was his idea.
I don't care.
Not to have the interaction.
I don't care. He had a baby with that woman. If he can't now co-parent with her, that tells me something about the fact that they shouldn't have even had a baby together. So no, y'all can't have any contact with her until such time as that baby is legitimized through the courts.
And what court do you do that?
Superior Court. And that's not your job, ma'am. That's
I'm
his
just
job.
asking, I just like to have the information.
I get that.
Is this guy actually crazy, or is he just playing a part? I mean, if he hadn't committed crimes and actually worked with his attorney, he'd probably be out on probation by now. But honestly, it feels like he wants to stay in jail longer. Is this some kind of weird strategy? Because I've never seen this one before. The way he's pushing the judge's buttons and practically begging for a contempt charge is insane. Seriously though, contempt of court is no joke. It can add days or even months to your sentence. Does he not realize that? Or does he just enjoy being the center of chaos? Maybe it's both. At this point, It's like he's trying to win an award for most annoying defendant
But we are
of the year.
raising trifling
But just
men.
wait until the
We're
judge
doing
snaps
so
in the
much
next
for
minute.
them
It's pure
that we're
gold.
not
Let's
raising
dive
men.
back in.
We're raising little boys that some other woman is going to be burdened with taking care of. Even when if he gets back with Kay and Frazier, she going to have to do everything for him because you and his mama are coddling him. There was a time in this country where once you left your parents' house, you were responsible and you had to make your way and be responsible. Every successful person I know, including myself, you get from your parents instructions when you finish high school. Hey, I don't know what you're gonna do. College, military, work, but you can't live here. And we are so busy coddling. I know he has a place now, but we're so busy coddling, especially young men. We seem to be wanting to raise women to be responsible. You got to go out and get a job. You got to do this. You got to do that. But parents continue to coddle these young.
Charge was deserved? Because honestly, what did this idiot think was going to happen when he accused the judge of being a racist? Does he not realize that accusing a judge of bias without proof is basically the fastest way to make his situation even worse? If anything, this guy is a professional victim. It's like he wakes up every day thinking, how can I blame the entire world for my mistakes? I seriously cannot imagine being this delusional. What's even crazier is how calm the judge stayed for most of it, considering the absolute circus this guy was putting on. I mean, the judge definitely had his moments, but for the most part, he kept it together. What do you guys think? Was the contempt charge deserved? Let's dive back in. Honestly, that contempt charge was way overdue. If anything, this guy got off easy with just that. The way he's acting, he might not be seeing the outside of a jail cell for a long time, and maybe that's exactly what he needs to snap out of this whole "I'm the victim" mindset. You can only play the blame game for so long before the law steps in and says, yeah, no, we're not doing this anymore. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought about this court hearing. Was the judge too harsh, or did this guy have it coming? And if you enjoyed this video and want more wild court moments like this,
Being responsible
don't
for
forget to
themselves
like
or anybody
and subscribe.
else. He's a
Thanks
parent
so
now,
much for
so
watching.
he's grown.
Take care.
So anything that happens on his behalf or his child's behalf, he has to handle it. Y'all need to stop stepping in.
I respect what you just said, but in the case,
No buts.
He stepped in and is taking care of her daughter that is 4.
So
and my family and everybody that knows him respects him as a good father. So I cannot let it be said that he's not a good parent.
I didn't say he wasn't a good parent. I said they weren't mature enough to co-parent.
I recognize that, but I do want it to be on record that he is.
No, I didn't say he wasn't a good parent, and there is a path to him being able to parent his child. I told you what it is. But what I'm saying to you is you and his mama can't live his life for him. And as long as y'all are doing for him, then he won't be able to do for himself.
Thank you for that, Your Honor.
I'm just saying, you recognize what I'm saying. When you left your parents' house, how old were you?
18.
And did they say you never went back, did you?
Never went back.
Okay, this man is 25, and I'm gonna tell you what my grandmother said. My grandmother raised 13 children, and you know what she said? She said, I have never had to stand bond for any of them. But you know what she also said? If you do something, don't call me. She's right. I raised you to be responsible. I raised you to do the things that you should know how to do. And so of her 13 children, none of them had to stand in a courtroom or call come get them or call my grandfather to come get them because I've raised you. So now you're on your own to be responsible the way I taught you to be. And we have gotten so far away from that. We got kids now telling their parents off, taking their parents' vehicles, hitting and interacting with their parents in such negative ways. But at a minimum, we're not raising children to be responsible. At 18, your parents said, that's it. And you went out and you made your way. And you look reasonably successful. Now, I don't know you, but you don't look like you're struggling. And what I'm telling you is until you let somebody get out there and do what they need to do. And you looking at me in this role, but I'm gonna tell you right now, when I went to college, my parents was like, okay, you made it into college. All those student loans, I had to pay. When I went to law school, I had to pay. I was working 2 jobs in college and going to school, 2 jobs and going to school. There have been other times in my life when I worked 2 jobs and gone to school. So what I'm saying to you is he can do if y'all step out of the way and make him do it. But don't keep coddling him and we gonna facilitate seeing the baby and we gonna make sure because y'all can't co-parent because y'all fighting each other that we gonna make it easy to go back and forth. Go to court. He can go to court, set up a visitation schedule and get a superior court judge to determine how this is gonna happen. But in all things, he's gonna be a parent for the rest of his life. So if he can't get it right now at the beginning when it's easy, it's not going to get any easier. It's not.
And with all due respect, Your Honor, I don't condone. I didn't help you get into a mess. I can't help you get out, but I do support helping you through it. That's the way I look at it with my kids and my grandkids.
I have a feeling this grandma is about to keep coddling this dude. I could just tell. Like, come on. If she really wanted to change things, she would have stopped babying this man after his first or second charge. But nope, here she is, still acting like he's some helpless little kid who just needs a hug and a warm cookie. Ma'am, the law doesn't work like that. At some point, even the nicest grandma has to realize she's just enabling this guy.
I got you. But what I'm saying to you is, remember how you made it. And people think it's harsh. But when your parents said, you 18 now, you on your own, you might have struggled. But right now, if you face with any situation in your life, you're going to figure out how to get it, how to make it work.
Yeah.
Because you've had that experience. We don't let our kids struggle. So when they get out there, the first thing they're going to do is turn back to mama. Well, what am I going to do now? Well, if you struggled when you first got out there and made your way and realized you got to work, you got to pay bills, you got to find a place to stay, you got to maintain a place to stay. When you do those things, it makes you responsible and able to handle whatever challenge comes your way. But as long as the parents are stepping in and keeping these 20-something, I even give a little grace for the 20s, but the 30s, the 40s, I got parents who carrying these people on their back and they're coming in and raising discord in their households. We have got to stop coddling these young men. He went out there, he had a baby. So if he chosen to give up his 20s and his carefree lifestyle to be a parent, then he's got to do what it takes to do it right. And if that means going to court and legitimizing his child, getting the money up to do what he needs to do, then he needs to do that. But nobody's telling him to go out here and just have babies without thinking about the consequences of what that means.